there are a number of things that you need to do to ensure that you get all of those years and miles of reliable motoring. Underneath the bonnet can be an unknown world to people, but there's no need to be scared of it, and there are just a few places that you need to concentrate on so that you know you won't be caught at the side of the road. The first thing that you need to know is how to open the bonnet, and also you must check to make sure that the vehicle is not in gear, it's not running, and the park brake is on. In this Rexton, it's down on the driver's side footwell. Right here. Now, we need to release the bonnet using this little catch here. Now, looking in the engine bay can be quite daunting, but it doesn't need to be, and there are only a few areas that you need concern yourself with. Firstly, this little fella is called the dipstick. All you do is pull that out, and with a piece of rag or some garage paper, just wipe the dipstick clean and then reinsert it into its tube. Then pull it out again after waiting for a second or so, and the oil level will be indicated on the dipstick. On here there are a couple of little notches, little cutouts, and those indicate high level and low level. You should have your oil level preferably up to but not beyond the high level. In this case it's absolutely perfectly spot on, so this engine has plenty of oil in it and it's good to go. The most important word in engineering is lubrication, and in this case, if you look after your engine's lubrication, your engine will look after you and won't let you down. If the oil level's low, you need to find out what the correct specification oil is for the particular car that you're driving, and you'll find that in the owner's handbook. To get access to the oil, what you need to do is undo the filler cap, which is normally situated within the top of the engine. It looks like this. It just unscrews and comes out. And then you carefully replenish the oil up to the correct oil level. Once you've replenished a bit of oil, screw the cap back on to make sure that you've done it, because again, you don't want oil spraying out of here, and recheck the oil level. Another area that you'll regularly need to access is the screen wash. It's important to keep these topped up for many reasons. One, obviously, to help keep your screen clear when the weather's inclement and there's lots of road spray coming onto your windscreen. But also, it's an MOT requirement that the screen wash is full. If it's empty, it's a fail, and that's a silly thing to fail an MOT on. It's quite simple. Get your screen wash. I've got it in a can here, but you can get it in a little bottle, pre-mixed, and just top it up. There we are. That's full. Pop the cap back down, and that's the job done. But it's important to remember to use correct screen wash, because screen wash itself is good to go below freezing point. Now, quite often you're going to be using your screen washers in sub-zero temperatures, and if that's the case, you don't want to just try and scoop water through onto your screen, which will instantly freeze and then of course obscure your vision. Another area that we can look at while we're under the bonnet, and it's a very important area, is the coolant level. Now here is the coolant reservoir, and this is the filler cap. Under no circumstances should you remove that filler cap when the engine is hot, because otherwise coolant can spray out of there, or steam can spray out of there and burn you horribly. Here we can see that the coolant level is up to just about this level, this ridge here, which is perfectly acceptable. If it drops below the low level, then it needs replenishment with the correct coolant. Again, read the user manual to find out what the correct coolant is for your particular car. And again, do not do that operation unless the engine is cool. Now also here we can see the brake fluid reservoir. Now again, you shouldn't need to do anything about this at all, but it's worth looking at while you're under the bonnet here. Now we can see that the fluid level is up to the maximum line, which is marked on the reservoir here. so we do not need to touch that. If you cannot see any brake fluid in the reservoir, do not attempt to drive the car. Right, we've seen everything under the bonnet that we really need to see, so we can close it and let's have a look at the tyres. Now, our tyres are the most important link between the car and the road surface. It's the only thing of the whole car that's in contact with the road, so they need to be in absolutely tip-top condition. You need to inspect all areas of the tyre that you can see. So, first of all, we've got the tread, which runs around the top of the tyre and to the edges here. Now, the minimum legal tread depth is 1.6 millimetres. However, that's very low indeed. I would suggest that your tyre tread depth should be no less than 3 millimetres, which is, roughly speaking, about the ridge area, the gold area on a £1 coin. Just drop it in there like that, just to make sure that you've got plenty of tread left. If so, what should exactly we be looking for on a worn tyre? Well, we need a worn tyre. Here's one I sourced earlier. Now, this tyre is actually worn in the centre quite badly, and there are little tyre wear indicator bars that are located within the tread on each tyre. Here you can see that they are flush with the upper part of the tread on the tyre, indicating that this tyre is absolutely out of action. There are other areas of wear to look at as well, such as uneven wear. Now, this tyre has worn on this shoulder more than it has on this one, which would indicate that there may be problems with the steering or suspension on the car that this came from. There are more areas of wear that we need to look at, and here we have a split where the tyre has actually rubbed against something and split the actual carcass of the tyre. This could blow out at any time, and that could happen at speed, which could cause a catastrophic accident. This tyre, therefore, is for the bin. This tyre, however, is good to go for another good few thousand miles.